So today's gonna be a somewhat of a long video, but I'm pretty much gonna show you what I do literally every single afternoon as I'm going through and what exactly I'm looking at. I showed a quick example on one of them yesterday, partially as to what I do. So this is a full, long, drawn out. Ain't nobody probably ever gonna watch this whole video, but either way, I'm about to just jam out. You can watch exactly what I do every day. Right now it's July 8th. I'm trying to create my watch list for the 9th. So let's go ahead and get it. Of course, we're not trading Bitcoin, although I do have Bitcoin on the screen. We're going to go down, skip over the ETFs for now. Go down to my top stock here, which is Amazon. And so what I'm doing is I'm looking for all of the 2-1 patterns, 3-1 patterns, and 3-2 patterns. That's what I'm looking for. And I'm just going straight down the list on the daily time frame. If possible, you always want to start with the highest time frame and work your way down. So I start with the daily time frame and let's see what we can come up with. So Amazon 2-2, 2-2 for Apple, 2-2 for AMD, 1-2 for ANET. And like I said yesterday, all we doing is looking at the to end where it left off at. We still got about 15 minutes in trading, but it's pretty much set in stone for the day. But we're looking at these last two numbers here. Circle 1-2, 2-2, 1-2. So all these ones I'm not even worrying about. All these ones that ain't, like I said, a 2-1, 3-1, or a 3-2. Right now we're getting a whole bunch of 2s, which is fine. That's the most common candle using the strat pattern. So here on Marvel we do have a 2-1. I might come back to that. With me being a new trader, the Marvel contracts are hella high. So I got a list here to come back to later, but we'll see. I might come back to it and revisit it. Micro strategy 1-2, MU 2-2, 2-2, 1-2. And don't worry, the fact that we're not finding a whole lot of ones that's matching up with what I said, that's perfectly fine. So here we got a 3-2. So that might be something worth looking into. Let's visit our sheet here real quick. So this is just a cheat sheet here. If y'all can see that, we'll keep it just pulled up over here in the corner. Yeah, there we go. So here we got a 3-2. So on the 3-2, you looking for one of these here. Right now, Nvidia is pretty much up on every time frame. So we're not gonna probably worry about this one, because since it's showing for the day, the week, the month, the quarter, the year, it's on the up and up. I would not be looking to trade this to the downside at all, or watching that to come back down for a reversal. I'm not even going to worry about it. Super microcomputer 2-2, 2-2, 2-2, 1-2. 1-2. Once again, if you've been following with me, you already know that the strategy my strategy of choice that I've decided to use is called the strat. If you literally go on to YouTube up in the search or wherever, or Google search or whatever you want to do, and literally type in the strat trading pattern, or trading strategy, it'll pop right up for you. So far, all we got is a bunch of 2-2s, which is the middle of the week, so I guess that might be kind of expected. Stuff is kind of leveling out, not a whole lot of hopping around. So here we got a 3-2 on Carvana. So going back over to the pattern here. So red 3 candle and then a 2 to the upside. So this would be the pattern the candlestick pattern we will be looking for. So we will be looking for tomorrow, whenever everything opens, we will be looking for the break above this candle here and to head back towards this way. Let's go ahead and back out a little bit. So based on how it's been looking, starting towards, what's this, the end of April, looks like it started downtrending, hopped up for a quick second, and then started downtrending again until we get to today. And now it's on a little bit of I would say the potential beginning of an uptrend, but until it breaks through up this way, then we can't really say. As y'all see, it's kind of been bouncing back and forth between this 61 low and about 71, 73 high. So that's how we looking. So I'm gonna go ahead, reposition these lines real quick. I'll go ahead and delete my old lines from a few days ago. So remove all those. So again, I use white lines for the entry, orange lines for the first target point, and purple lines for the for my max or my target 2, whatever you want to call it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put one here. That's gonna be a white line because this is where I would want to enter in at if it comes back to the upside. And so based on this, we would want to aim for the top of this candle. So this is where I would put my orange at, my target 1. And let's do a little bit of a deep dive here. So like I said, entry is the white, first target is the orange. Let's see what we got on the 12-hour, because like I said, we want to start high and then work our way down. So on the 12-hour, same thing. So look, 3-2. Let's go down to the 4-hour. We have a 2-1, which is good. Going back to our patterns again, if you have a 2-1, so where is it at? Red 2, and then you come up here and you got a 1. That's exactly what we're seeing. Got the red 2. It's just barely inside. This 1 is barely inside of the 2, but it is inside. Then once again, we're going to be looking for our entry at the top of the 1, which you already had noted out, and expecting it to come back to the up. So that's perfect there. So on the daily, on the 12-hour, and on the 4-hour, we got a 2-1 popping off. So that's great. Just for giggles, let's see, on the 1 hour we don't got nothing, but that's perfectly fine. So now I'm gonna go in and see if I can kind of fine tune where my lines are. So if you notice that white line, I literally want for it to be right at the top of where the candle left off at. So I can actually, now that I'm zoomed in, I can be more precise and bump this down just a hair. Cool. And then I'm gonna look and see where I put that orange line, and looks like my orange was spot on. It's literally right towards the tip top. I never go towards the very tip top of the candlestick. Usually I will cut it off just a tiny bit below. As y'all can see as well, I have a broadening formation patterns indicator on, and it's showing that we do have a broadening formation. That's what this red line you see right here. And then if you look back, this is the other side of it here. So it could potentially drop a long ways down, which I don't think it'll be doing that, just based on the current continuation, mostly in the green. So I'm betting on this to move upwards more likely than downwards. With us having this broadening pattern here, this is kind of a restriction area. This is our having a brain fart right now. But we pretty much, to go any higher, you got to get above this here, above the top of our broadening formation. So this would be kind of my ceiling. So like I said, I marked out my entry. I have my potential first target based on if I were to get like 100% move. But let's see, where are our shorter targets that can still get us some money in our pockets here without getting to the very top. So I'm gonna go and reevaluate. So it looks like right about here, if you notice, it looks like it peaked here at one point, peaked here right around here at another point. When you come back over here, looks like it kind of hit in this area and bounced up, used it as a floor. So I'm actually going to put my first target. I'm going to move that first target to right about here. And this now will become my top. So from $66.84, almost $67 up to $69 and some change is a $2 plus move. When playing options, that should be a nice come up there. If that comes through, even just to hit the first target, and everything else is just icing on the cake. So cool, we good there. So I'm gonna go ahead and bump it down to the 1 minute, and I can refine this even more if I wanted to. Cool, we already pretty much spot on. Once again, I can refine it even more if I wanted to. Cool, so I'm spot on with that. Great. So that's about all I need. At this point, now that I'm at the 1 minute, I'm gonna go ahead and set up my alert. So here's my alert. Price crossing up of 66.84. Expiration date, end of trading session tomorrow. And so we're gonna rock with that tomorrow for Carvana. Let me back out a little bit more here. So that's the first one on my watch list. And so I'm gonna go ahead and write that down. CVNA. It was a 2-1 pattern. And if I remember correctly, it was matching up on the 4-hour, the 12-hour, and the 1-day charts. We were looking solid. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a 3-star on that one. 3-star rating, that's kind of what I kind of put towards the quote-unquote top of my list to look out. And then I'm gonna put a note that this one is up only, meaning that I will not trade this both directions, only up. So that's pretty much what I put there. CVNA, 2-1, up only, and what time frames I found that it matched up at. Everything that's triggering right now is just an alert that I have set that pretty much triggers every day at like 1 o'clock. So close that out. Some more may pop up. So now we on to the next. We got one of them already set in stone. Tomorrow we'll be watching for it. So let's keep on going down the list, trying to find our 2-1s. Let me go back to the daily. So 2-2 on DocuSign, no good for what we're looking at doing. A 1-3, 2-2, 2-2, still striking out today. Good thing we got a few more on the list here. So all of these are 2-2 for the daily. We got a 2-3. That doesn't help us. 2-2, 2-2. 2-2. 2-2, 2-2, 2-2. Man. 2-2 again. 2-2 for the daily. Man, hopefully the 12-hour give us some ammo for tomorrow. Because we about out of steam. Another 2-2. And another 2-2. Alright, let's go over to the top. Look at the ETFs here. We got 2-2. 2-2. 2-2. 2-2. 2-2. We're looking at for SPY. Also 2-2. And another 2-2. It is what it is. So we got one solid play at the 1 day mark. I'm going to go ahead actually and skip over 12 and go to 4. And we're going to run it back through. So I got a 2-1 for Apple. So I keep that one up at the top. And I'm gonna put a spacer line down, and then start with the ones I'm finding here on the 4 hour. I said Apple, I meant Amazon, but Amazon 2-1 on the 4 hour. I'm pretty sure 12 hour might be the same. 2-2, it's all good. We got Apple 3-2. So, but at the same time, let's go back to our chart. So we're 3-2 with the green 3, a red 2. You're looking at this here. You would want to be looking for a reversal. But in this case, I'm going to pretty much ignore it because if you notice, Apple been on the up and up. Hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly. It's been doing what it does. So we're going to actually leave this one alone. I will say this. You can map it to the downside just in case. But me, usually if the time frame shows that it's going up, I just leave it at that. That's just me personally. I guess that's part of my personal risk tolerance and risk management. It's always a chance so that it can move downwards, but this is just me. So let's continue going down the list. AMD with a very nice 2-1. So let me write that down real quick on the note. AMD 2-1 on the 4 hour. $12 hours to look 2-2. Pretty much expecting to have a 2-2 on all the 12 hours, but I still double check. So on this AMD play, check this out real quick. So we got all of this room to the top. We got all of this, even more room down to the bottom. Oh damn, I'm blind as hell. I'm looking at this. I'm tripping. When this is what I didn't even look at. I'm jumping ahead. Like I'm just seeing the big old candle and my eyes lit up. But anyway, so we got the 2-1, but we got some room to the top and we got even more room to the bottom. Let's see what kind of spread we're looking at between it here. So from the bottom of this wick, 510, down to the bottom of the wick next beside it, 498. That's a $12 drop. Here from the upside, we got 519 up to as high as 523. So we got a lot of cushion going both directions. So this is the one you for sure want to map out both ways. Go ahead and look at our chart real quick. So 2-1. So you're gonna be looking at this one right here, or this one. Where is it at? This one right here. One of these two. Either a 212 bullish continuation or a 212 bearish reversal. So we got our two. This is it right here. As you can see, two green. So this is our green 2 right here. The 1, it don't really matter what color it is. So that's the 1. And then all we doing is looking to see if it's going to go down on the next candle, which we mark our entry at the bottom and back down this way. And this would be our, our target. Or if it keeps going up, that's perfectly fine. We mark it at the top and then look for it to start back going up. So let's go ahead and get it popping on doing that. So that's 1. This is 2. So there go my entries for both the top and the bottom. And that's going to be pretty much my full-on target points I would hope to get to. If this thing just dropped out the air while I'm in it and go from a 510 down to mid 5 to 505 or less, that would be nuts. That would be freaking nuts. Let me go ahead and make these lines the right colors. So hit that there, white. Hit this one here, white. That's my entries. I'll set this at orange for the time being. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the whole bottom. I'm gonna actually leave that one at purple. So now I gotta fill in my purple up here and I gotta fill in my other orange down here. So let's zoom in. Let's go to the 1 hour. See how we looking. All right, so this entry needs to be adjusted just a hair, right about there. This entry can be adjusted just a hair to right about there. Cool. And let me see if I can see some spots that might produce some resistance for us. So when you're looking at this, like I'm going back some days, some weeks, or whatever, it got a little bit hairy up in here. So this is where I have set as my target 1, which is pretty good because if you see here, it pretty much got to that point, came back down. Once again, got to that point, came back down, got to that point. But this was kind of been our resistance zone. So assuming that my entry is to the upside, I would say that this is a good spot to set this at. But that's also, you got to be realistic. This is also a move from 519 to 522.87, so almost $3. Can you hold out till it reaches that whole $3? Yes. Me personally, at my skill level, I still like to set stuff a little bit sooner, a little bit earlier. As I do get better, then I'll have a little bit more faith and just let it run and kind of do what it do. But I still like to set a target a little bit early. So like I said, this has kind of been my spot. I'm looking. This here looks like it's a couple times where it fell short. So I'm gonna go ahead and bump this down just a hair. It's at 523.38. I'm gonna bump it down to 522.86. Just a hair, just a little bit. And we'll see how that works for us. The next spot is going to be a little bit higher right up here, because if you notice, I have 1 point, another point kind of getting up there. This was kind of right in that same general area. So I'm going to stick my top here. Cool. So on this bottom one, if it goes to the downside, I got, this is already, like I said, this is pretty much I expected to be our bottom. That's perfectly fine. So I'm gonna put in my first target. It's at 510. It's a long range from 510 to 498. So I'm gonna put in right about here. Reason for this is, first off, I'm looking at the previous candles here. Whenever it came back up and got above that point, I see that this wick down to right at about that point. I see over on here on this side, once again, I got another wick stopping right at about that point, another wick stopping right at about that point. Going over a little bit more, got a couple more wicks stopping right at about that point. This is also the beginning of our broadening formation starting to develop. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave that like that, which gives us a $3 and some change buffer. So let's go down to the 1 minute. Cool, everything set, looking how it should. All good. That came down a little bit further. I'm fine with leaving that there. Not the end of the world. All good. So let's go ahead and set our alerts up. So alert, price crossing up past 519.19. Ending for tomorrow. Cool. And alert, price crossing down 510.39. Ending tomorrow. So now we got our alert set for both, for whether it goes up or goes down. We're good on both ends. Let me go ahead and plug on my computer real quick. Cool. So we all Gucci there. Let's keep on going down the list. I don't know how long this video gonna be. I might just stop it. But let me go back to my 4 hour. Gotta fly up in here. Alright, so on the 4 hour, got a 3-1. And we're about to do the same thing over again. But I'm not even gonna make y'all sit through all of this. This is just me talking through what I'm doing. Because if you can explain it to the next person, that means that you have it down pat and that you're learning it properly. So if you watch this video, I appreciate you looking. Whoever's following me on this journey, thank you. This is pretty much a way that I see, or a path that I see to possibly being financially free sooner rather than later. So I'm putting everything I got into it and just documenting it as I go. So thank you again. Signing out. Everybody be blessed and be free.